Hey, what's going on, guys? Today in this video, as you can see, we've got a brand new speaker system. This is a 5.1 system from Sue Research. These are the MFL-6. We'll talk about all the specs, the size. We'll get them unboxed and show you one of them. And then this is truly unique. So this is going to be a sealed subwoofer, but then we've got a supercharger, and we'll talk about what that is in this video. So we're going to go ahead and just dive right into it, waste no time. I want to unbox this first. So these should be available on their website pretty much right now when this video drops. And then the subwoofer, the D15 Chimera SC, will be available I think in a couple of months. You can see the pre-order on their website. Before I dive into all the specs, one thing that's pretty amazing about this system, and I think one of the things that I really appreciate about Sue Research and what they're all about, is providing value. I know you guys are a lot of times looking for just affordable options. Truth is, home theater does get quite expensive. It doesn't have to be though. So if your budget is a lot lower, these speakers are less than $300 a piece. And again, we'll talk about all the specs. Let's go ahead and get this speaker out here. Check it out. So I like the fact that they give you this cloth. Oh yeah. I've always enjoyed, I'm gonna put these gloves on just because I don't want to get fingerprints all over this. I've reviewed 2 subwoofers from Sue Research, I guess over the past, I think it's been about 2 years. And each time I've just been extremely impressed just with the quality, the build quality, but also the value that they bring. A lot of bang for your buck. Let's see what this is all about here. So as I shared, this is the MFL-6. So here's what's interesting about these speakers. You can see right here, this is an angled front. So you can see the driver, the tweeter up here, the bass driver down on the bottom are angled. It's called MFL because it's a multi-function loudspeaker. And what I mean by that is this can be used as a left and a right. It can also be used as a center channel. You can use these as your surrounds, and these can also be used as your height speakers. And so because of this angle, if you've got your left and right, it's automatically towed in to your listening position. Oftentimes when you have a speaker, if the speaker is firing, let's say it's way over here, firing straight, and I'm sitting here in the middle, I'm listening off axis. Typically when you get off axis, a speaker's frequency response begins to break up some, and it's not as good, and you don't get as good of a sound. But by angling these right towards your listening position, you get great sound. But one thing that Dr. Sue shared with me is these have really great off-axis response too. So even if they're towed in, as far as this angle is towed in to the main listening position, the other seats next to it are still going to get a good sound. So we've got a horn up here, tweeter on the top, mid-range driver, bass driver right there. Looking at the rear, a couple of different ways that you can mount this. We've got keyhole back here in 2 different configurations. So you can mount it vertically like this, but you can also turn it around and mount it horizontally like that. And see what's cool, the speaker's already aimed down. So let's say this was a front height speaker up here. It's already aimed down at your listening position. So down here on the bottom, that is ported, but I believe you can do these as sealed as well. But I don't see a port plug in here. But I was thinking I read something somewhere. Just seeing if they've got anything there. I don't see it. So I'll have to check on that. So this won't be the full review. So there's some things that I'll have some questions for Dr. Sue that I'll ask him. But I believe I read that you can do these sealed or ported. And we also, I'm noticing we've got threaded screws back here too. So that's actually really cool, especially if you want to mount these on your ceiling for your height speakers. But I love the gloss here. I love this satin smooth. For some reason, I love speakers when I'm able to just run my hands on them and they're just super smooth. Just the craftsmanship here. I really, really like the design of these. Now these are super affordable. They're only $279 each. And so buying 5 of these speakers or 70 of these speakers definitely will not break the bank. Down at the bottom, you can see we've got 4 rubber feet in case you want to put those, you know, on a piece of furniture. It's not going to damage the speaker and it's not going to scratch your furniture. Now the speaker grills are not magnetic. They've got just a little peg right here. So we'll just align that back up. We're going to set these off to the side because I want to check out these subwoofers. Actually, one thing I did not see till just now, inside the box, they even give you a template. So this will be really handy if you want to mount these to the wall so that you can align these exactly where it needs to be, put your holes through it, drill your holes, and then you're already lined up. You don't have to guess or do any measurements. So that's super handy as well. Since they don't have the speakers on the website, I had to look into the manual to see some of the specs on these. These will extend down to 60 hertz. It's a, doesn't say what size the tweeter is, but it was designed by Don Keel for controlled directivity. And then the driver on there is a 6.5 inch treated paper cone woofer. And 15 pounds, so they're not very heavy at all. All right, so let's go ahead and lay this off to the side. And let's get to unboxing this subwoofer. All right, so now let's get to the D15 Chimera subwoofer. So it's got some instructions for unboxing. I've reviewed quite a few of their subwoofers, at least 2 of them. And most subwoofers I do the same way. Open up the top, and then I flip it over. Especially if you're doing this by yourself. It's about the easiest way I know to get a subwoofer out. It weighs about 120 pounds. I believe this is maybe 70 pounds. Now let's lay this off to the side. So we got really thick corner pieces and we got nice thick padding right here. So this should be our power cable. Yep, so we got our 2-prong IAC power cable. And then they always include a SU bass test CD, which is pretty cool. Lay that off to the side. We got more gloves, and we've got the SU logo right here. I think you can add that on later if you want. Let's go ahead and remove the top. All right, so what I like to do, oh, that looks nice. All right, so I'll explain what this is for here after we get this unboxed. Just want to see where the woofers are. So there's a woofer there. Amp plates back here. So I'm going to swing it around because I want to tilt it on the side that doesn't have any components like a driver or the amplifier. We don't want to ding it up or get it bent. All right, so I'm gonna have to repackage this back up. So let's see if I can remove this without having to cut it. Oh yeah, there we go, nice. Slide that up. You guys ready? All right. Now this is very similar in design of the TN1 that I reviewed, but instead of 1 driver, we now have 2. So this is a dual opposing system. Got a 15 active driver firing this way, another 15 active on the other side firing the opposite way. One of the benefits of having a dual opposing system is it minimizes the vibrations here because the one driver that's pushing out, the other driver's pushing out, and they basically cancel each other versus one driver kind of constantly pushing and exerting force on this. So what's kind of cool, a lot of times I've seen you could put a glass of water on the top. We may try that just to see. Crank up the music, have these subwoofers going nuts, and the glass of water will sit really, really still. So that'd be kind of a fun test that we can do once we get to the review. Looking at the rear of the unit, we have balanced XLRs as well as unbalanced RCA inputs. We've got a volume knob, a toggle switch that can adjust the phase from 0 to 180 degrees. Depending on how you have the subwoofer configured, how many ports you have open, whether you've got it sealed, that's going to determine which operating mode you choose here, and they're all clearly labeled right beneath it. You got additional adjustments for your Q control as well as crossover, and then whether or not you're using the internal crossover built into the amplifier or an external crossover, which would be in your AVR or processor. For power, you can choose to have it always on, always off, or set it to auto so that it auto senses the signal and turns on and off. If your AVR or processor doesn't have a designated subwoofer output, you can always use the line level inputs here. Down at the bottom, we've got our fuses as well as our main power input, and you can see we have 2 heat sinks here. The D15 Chimera has an output capability of 132 dB and will extend down to 25 Hertz, and the retail on this is $17.99. Now, before we take a look at the Supercharger, as you can see, I am so ready to have all of my reviews at the Obsessed Home Theater Lab. We're currently in the process of building it. This is what my theater room looks like a lot of times when I'm reviewing products. So that's going to be super, super helpful. So those are some pads. I think I know what that goes to, but I'll save that for a few minutes. Let's get this out. I want to show you what in the world is a Supercharger. I'd never seen one of these before Dr. Sue sent me the photos of it. All right, had to make some room there. Not a real good way to get this packing tape off without ripping this outer piece here, but I'm doing the best I can to preserve it. Dude, that's some big ports, man. All right, this is cool. I like what I'm seeing. So this is gonna be quite interesting. I don't know if, so this is a lot lighter. This I think is about 70 pounds. So much easier to move around than the other one. All right, let's take a look at this bad boy. So you might be looking at this going, Michael, what the heck are we looking at? So this is called a Supercharger. This, of course, is a sealed cabinet. This allows this to get louder and extend deeper by basically converting it from a sealed to a ported enclosure. So here you can see we've got some foam here, so sound can travel through there. And then there's this seal right here. And then these metal pegs align with these pegs right here. So we're not going to do it in this video, but I will show you in a future video when I do the review, because I want to test it in sealed first, see how that sounds, and then I want to add the Supercharger and see, you know, what that experience is like. But essentially, just to give you an idea, they've made it really easy. You remove the amp plate from back here. Then on the bottom down here, don't know if you guys can see that, but there's like a dummy plate. It's just a fake plate. So you would remove the bottom, you unhook the amplifier. There's some quick disconnects on the inside to make it easy. You move this amplifier from the top here, or from the back technically, to this bottom. Then when this is laying down on the ground, this will sit right on top of here, and this now is kind of like the port that goes into here, and this is sitting on top. So I'll show you a picture here on the screen so you can visualize what that looks like. But essentially, we're taking a sealed enclosure, converting it to a port, and then getting more output and lower end extension. Now, of course, you don't have to. You can run this just as a sealed enclosure, and enjoy it. If it meets your needs and everything that you want, but if you want to add some more grunt, some more oomph, then converting it to the supercharged version, ported, it's just going to make it taller, twice as tall when this is laying down. Pretty cool design though. So I'm really excited about this. I love just I think it's pretty ingenious. Now, maybe there's other brands that have done that before, but that's certainly something new for me. So I've never experienced. So I'm excited to get this checked out, to get it tested, to run some measurements on it, and to share that with you here on the channel. But I love what I'm seeing. Really pumped about this. And one thing that really excites me, like I shared with you, is just the affordability. This entire system will run you less than $4,000 for a 5.1 system. And I haven't heard it yet, but based on just what I'm seeing numbers wise, that's a ton of output. So I'm excited to get this checked out. Now I'll leave a link to the MFL-6s down in the description, as well as the Chimera D15 and the Supercharger down in the description. So be sure to check that out. Now I've got to clean all this stuff up because tomorrow I've got 2 guys that are coming over to demo my system, and I've got to move all of this back out so that we can enjoy that and then bring them back in here for testing. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. God bless. I'll catch you in the next one.